What's up, Jets fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician, Dane Martinez, and we are in draft week. I've been talking for a while about what I think the Jets are going to do, and really, I've been talking about how the mocks are really split, right? Between the offensive line, I think it's Membu, and a lot of people out there still think that it could be Tyler Warren out of Penn State that is the draft pick at number 7 overall. One of my theses so far has been that the tight end position is really deep, and that's part of why I think they prioritize the offensive linemen at number 7 overall. I've talked to you about guys like Mason Taylor. I've talked to you about guys like Elijah Arroyo. I've talked to you about guys like Ferguson out of Oregon, but honestly, there has been a little bit of buzz, specifically about Mason Taylor recently, that he has been shooting up draft boards and that he could even go late round 1, early round 2. The Jets may not have a chance at him at number 42 overall, but I've been starting to talk to you also about other ways the Jets can round out their tight end room, right? They have Ruckert, who they kind of like. Ohio State Buckeye was Justin Fields' tight end at Ohio State. They signed Stone Smart from the Los Angeles Chargers. A couple of weeks ago here on Jets Latest, I talked about Kyle Pitts as a potential trade target, right? If Atlanta wanted to move up. I'm not giving up number 7 overall. Yesterday, we talked about Baltimore Ravens tight end Mark Andrews, and could he be on the block after what their GM has said? Well, there is another, and it is in Philly, and it is Dallas Goddard. Keep an eye on Dallas Goddard as well. It looks like the Philadelphia Eagles have made him available in trade, and Philly is rumored to also be open to taking 2026 draft compensation in a package for Dallas Goddard. So that means also to me that this kind of deal would not have to happen in the next 48 to 72 hours. This could be something that happens after the draft. So this gives the Jets a little bit more flexibility, as I have been talking about. If they want to get a second, third, fourth round tight end and the board doesn't fall right for them, I talked about Mark Andrews yesterday, Dallas Goddard could be another name. Now, Dallas Goddard last year, he's been with the Eagles for a while, 42 catches, almost 500 yards receiving, and only 2 touchdowns, but he did it in 10 games. I mean, his 49.6 yards per game was actually 6th among tight ends in the NFL, above guys like TJ Hawkinson, above guys like Sam Laporta, above guys like Mark Andrews, and also he has a catch rate of 80.8%. That means, that was top 5 among tight ends, right? So if he's the target, he is catching it. He has good hands, and that ball security is definitely important for a security blanket if they want to move forward with Justin Fields like that, having a reliable, secure kind of tight end. He is in the final year of his deal, Dallas Goddard, right? And he might be on the trade market, okay? 6'5", 256 pounds. He is 30 years old, so not like a real old guy. Remember, we've been talking about the new regime, the culture, the young competition that they are bringing in. He's never had more than 5 or 6 touchdowns in a season, but remember, in Philadelphia, right? They've got Jalen Hurts in the tush push, right? So they didn't use the tight end in the red zone as much as a lot of other teams in the NFL, mostly because of the tush push. So I wouldn't let the fact that he only had 2 touchdowns in 10 games, which really paces to like 3, 4, 5 anyway. I wouldn't think that is so bad, because on another team, the tight end, the caliber of Dallas Goddard, I think would get more opportunities. He's actually, if you think about fantasy-wise, he's finished as a top 12 tight end, so like a tight end 1 in 3 of the last 6 years. He's finished within the top 15 at the position in 3 of the last 4 years. So he is also rumored to be on the block, and I think that is actually pretty interesting, okay? So watch what the Jets do here, because now if guys like Mason Taylor, if guys like Arroyo, if guys like Ferguson, Loveland, of course Warren, if they are off the board and not in a position where the Jets want to go ahead and get them, I think tight end could be a position. They brought in Stone Smart, they have Ruckert, but this could be one of my veteran sprinkles that I have been talking about, whether it's Mark Andrews, who we profiled yesterday, or Dallas Goddard, to be sure. So keep an eye out for that moving forward. Another thing that is really interesting that happened today, you heard Darren Moji talk about, they are exercising the 5th-year options for the entire class of 2022. Now remember, in 2022, the Jets had both the offensive and defensive rookies of the year, right, with Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. Now, of course, they were going to extend those guys for their 5th-year option. We're talking about long-term contracts for both of them. I believe that after the draft, with whatever salary cap space is left, and the Jets are in good salary cap position. We'll talk about that, I think, on tomorrow's episode of Jets Latest, but they are under the cap, and they, because of all of their like 1 and 2 year deals, they have flexibility. I think Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson in long-term extensions are on the horizon, but what's important to note is it's not just Wilson. It's not just Sauce. Jermaine Johnson also, the Jets are exercising their fifth-year option on. He was one of the three guys they got in the first round in 2022. He's had 10 sacks in his first 3 years, okay? But honestly, he only played in 2 games last year. All right, got an Achilles injury that had him out for the rest of the year. His rookie year, I don't think really counts much as well. So you look at 2023 when he was a full-time starter and he had 7.5 sacks. Remember, Will McDonald is actually on the other side now, who was a first-round pick of the Jets a couple of years ago. He had 10.5 sacks last year. So you put this together, and I think Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, that is a pair of edge rushers that are pretty good, are young, and they are keeping Jermaine Johnson in the fold. Remember, this is, again, taking care of their young, talented players. This is kind of what this Moji and Glenn culture is doing. And I think the pair of McDonald and Jermaine Johnson, if they both stay healthy, will create havoc for quarterbacks in the AFC East and in the AFC. And it's part of the reason, remember last week there was a mock draft that we looked at where the Ole Miss edge, Prince Umimalin, was the third-round mock pick of Mel Kiper Jr. And I said, I don't think that's actually the way they're going to go. And it's because they have Jermaine Johnson and they have Will McDonald. They have their two young horses on the edge already, in my opinion. That's why I don't think they're going edge rush, at least with a high-level draft asset moving forward this weekend. As you know, I think it's O-line. We'll see about the tight end, and there are other options here. Now, with Garrett Wilson, right? There was buzz, there was rumors, there was drama, right? That Garrett Wilson maybe wasn't exactly happy with being a member of the Jets, that he maybe wanted to demand a trade. But no, that has all changed. Why? Because there is a new culture in town, and because Mr. Aaron Rodgers is not in town. And I think that is important. You guys must have heard over the weekend about this meeting. First of all, Aaron Rodgers is the one who told it to the media, that he had that meeting with Aaron Glenn and that it kind of went like 30 seconds, and then he came on out and he said, we're going in a different direction. Aaron Rodgers was complaining that he had to fly on his own dime just to meet him. First of all, obviously you do that, right? If they broke up with Aaron Rodgers over the phone, then Aaron Rodgers would be bitching about that, saying that, oh, they couldn't even look me in my eye. This is really what it was, right? Aaron Glenn has been talking about the culture, getting the right people in the building. He asked them straight up, are you invested? Are you ready to play football? That's the kind of guy that Aaron Glenn wants. He sensed whatever he did in Aaron Rodgers, and right away, he knew they were going in a different direction. Saw he wasn't serious, saw about all the drama, and quite frankly, Aaron Rodgers still hasn't made a decision on if he's going to be in Pittsburgh, if he's going to retire, whatever he's going to do. So Aaron Glenn and this new regime decided to move forward. Now, you've heard a lot of talk about this. I actually think this is great. I think this is great. I think this establishes Aaron Glenn as the Aaron that is in charge. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was running the Jets in the previous kind of regime, right? Bringing in Randall Cobb, bringing in Alan Lazard, being able to go to Egypt, being able to do his shaman stuff and have it not matter at all. The other thing in the last regime is you heard leaks left and right. Douglas and Saleh, they were in the media a lot, talking about what they were trying to do, trying to control the message. One of the things you have seen in this new kind of culture with Glenn and Moji is a lot of people are talking about no leaks out of the Jets, right? We don't know what they're going to do. They're playing it close to the vest. They got their identity. They're going to do what they think and F everybody else who doesn't believe in it. I actually like this approach, as you know here. And Moji was in front of a mic today talking about the draft, talking about getting ready. And someone asked him about the Aaron Rodgers meeting. And he responded, I understand the question, but I'm just going to talk about the draft and the current Jets players. They got no time for the drama with Aaron Rodgers. And by the way, if you remember, Aaron Glenn, he ended Aaron Rodgers' time in Green Bay, too. It was a Sunday Night Football last week of the season. The Packers needed to win in order to get into the playoffs against the Detroit Lions, and Aaron Glenn's defense in Detroit absolutely stifled Aaron Rodgers. So he ended him as a Packer. He ended him as a Jet as well, and this kind of no leaks, tell it how it is. This is how we're going to do it. You can like it or get out of the way or get on the gravy train. This is something I believe it will take time, but I think Jets fans can be proud of what we are doing here, and slowly it will start to kind of crystallize and more people will get on the train. So that'll do it for this episode of Jets Latest. Remember, tight end may be another place where we do sprinkle a veteran. I talked about Mark Andrews as a target potentially yesterday. Dallas Goddard could be another one. So see if the Jets actually go hard at the tight end position this week in the draft. I'm starting to think they are not. I'm starting to think the O-line is definitely where it is. with Armand Membu, with Will Campbell. We'll see what winds up happening. Jermaine Johnson will be in the fold, paired with Will McDonald, and those will be our edge rushers to start with this new defense here on the Glenn and Moji. And Aaron Glenn is the Aaron in charge for the Jets, Jets. Please make sure you watch this video, like the video, subscribe to Jets Latest so you continue to get the latest on the green and white. It is an exciting time as we get into the 2025 draft. Picks are going to be made, picks that we have been talking about on this show literally for a month or so, right? The first round, the second round, the third round, even pick 110 in the fourth round. We've profiled the positions of need, the targets, and we're going to see if we are right. And let me tell you something, on Friday and next week, I'm going to profile who we got, and maybe I will be saying I told you so. But regardless, like, subscribe, and if you want to hear more from me, the Spittin' Statistician, remember, I am the host of the FTN Fantasy Show over on SiriusXM Channel 87. We talk more than just Jets or more than the NFL, fantasy football, Major League Baseball, fantasy baseball, the NBA playoffs going on, golf. It does not matter. We are finding ways to win your leagues and win that cash. FTN is a great website with great tools and data. You should become a part of that as well. But remember, I will be back tomorrow talking a little bit about the cap space that I think the Jets have and some other options and details that you need to know before we get going with the 2025 draft. But we are only 2 days away. I'm excited. I know Jets fans are excited. And come on back tomorrow to get the latest right here on Jets Latest on the Jets, Jets. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. We out of here. Peace.